and she ratted him out. Jon Jones did it. And then Jon's on the phone with the cops, and apparently, allegedly, he threatened the cops when he was on the phone, which is not good.
We're not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
We're not having it.
Nah, definitely
Too
not.
much respect for Jon Jones, the GOAT of UFC. Is it fair to say he's the GOAT of UFC?
100%.
He is the GOAT.
I think the reality is, whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know, you'd have to ask him that, but, you know, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Following the recent clash between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, Joe Rogan offered his thoughts on the situation and speculated on who should face Aspinall next. During an episode of the JR MMA show where he was joined by UFC light heavyweight Khalil Roundtree, Rogan voiced a clear opinion. If it were up to him, Cyril Gane wouldn't be the next challenger. Instead, Rogan floated the idea of matching Aspinall with Derek Lewis, citing fan appeal and recent momentum. Aspinall is going to fight Gane. If I were calling the shots, I'd set up the Derek Lewis fight, Rogan said. Forget Cyril Gane for now. Derek just had a massive knockout. Who's more popular, more loved by fans than Derek? Let's make that fight happen. Roundtree, having lived in the same division, shared a similar view, recalling the constant pressure fighters feel when they hadn't defeated certain big names. He admitted that regardless of achievements, people would always say, "You never beat Jon Jones." He pointed out that even if Aspinall claims the full championship, there would still be a break in the lineage, a discontinuity that can't be ignored.
Right?
You lived in that division.
I also never beat him.
Yeah.
And I had, no matter what I did going forward, it was always that, well, you never beat Jon Jones. Tom Aspinall is going to get that belt, and there's going to be a gap, right? That lineal championship breaks. That line breaks. When Tom goes from interim to champion.
Rogan made it clear he sees Jon Jones as a figure from the past. In his eyes, the talk of a potential bout between Jones and Aspinall no longer holds weight. That said, UFC CEO Dana White did confirm earlier this week that Tom Aspinall will defend his interim heavyweight title against the division's top contender, Cyril Gane, at UFC 321 on October 25. Still, Rogan argued that a bout with Derek Lewis would capture far more public interest. Lewis, currently sitting at number 9 in the rankings, recently demolished Brazilian prospect Thaleson Teixeira in just 35 seconds. That win only strengthened his status as a fan favorite.
But what happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. You know, we were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Roundtree acknowledged the excitement such a fight could generate, but argued that Cyril Gane simply made more business sense. With Gane's popularity in France and the UFC expanding its international footprint, he noted that the matchup between the UK's Tom Aspinall and France's Cyril Gane aligned perfectly with the company's European market strategy. It makes sense, Roundtree explained. Tom is a British star, Cyril is a French icon. This is a fight that grows the sport. When asked whether a fight between Aspinall and anyone other than Jon Jones was the biggest potential bout, Roundtree agreed. Yeah, probably, he said without hesitation.
I got no ego. I don't...
Yeah. I understand you don't want to talk about it. Do you believe that maybe outside of Jon Jones, you versus Tom is probably the biggest fight in this division?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov also offered his thoughts on Jon Jones and the state of the heavyweight division. In an interview with Russian journalist Adam Zubayev, Khabib didn't hold back. He argued that Jones was no longer in his prime, citing his inactivity over the past 5 years. How many fights has he had in the last 5 years? 1 or 2, he asked. He mentioned the narrow and controversial wins over Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes as signs of decline. Then Jones returned to face Cyril Gane and won the heavyweight title, but according to Khabib, that was just about the paycheck. He said they just gave him the money. That's all. Jon Jones' status remains a point of contention. While some claim he's ducking opponents, including Aspinall, others defend him. I've said this a million times. He's never ducked anyone, except maybe that one weird time with Chael Sonnen. They admitted that whatever changed Jon Jones' mind about his recent bout is unclear, but they stood firm. He's 38. He's not afraid.
I'll just come out and ask you, do you think Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again, he's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. Never ducked anybody, and you know, I think the reality is, whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know, you'd have to ask him that, but you know, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them, and it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup?
The debate then shifted. Could it be that Jon Jones isn't scared of fighting, just wary of Tom Aspinall specifically? Khabib certainly believes Aspinall is currently the best heavyweight in the world, but he also pointed out that comparing careers and legacies fairly will only be possible once both fighters have retired. For Tom to reach Jon's legacy, it'll be incredibly difficult. You can only compare them after it's all said and done, Khabib said. In a surprising development, Jones hinted at coming out of retirement, just as former US President Donald Trump floated the idea of holding a UFC event at the White House in 2026. Jones confirmed that he had re-entered the UFC's anti-doping program, a necessary step for any fighter returning after retirement or long inactivity. The timing raised eyebrows across the MMA community, especially with Aspinall's fight against Cyril Gane just recently announced.
We will absolutely positively put on the baddest card of all time.
McGregor hasn't been in a while. I saw right when this came out, he was back in the ring. Jones, we don't know if he was serious. Is he not retired anymore? Is he back in
You jump back in the pool, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Officially?
Oh, yeah.
Veteran UFC fighter Matt Brown gave his take during an episode of The Fighter versus the Writer. He doesn't believe Jones is scared of Aspinall, but admitted that it certainly looks that way. I'm as big a Jon Jones fan as anyone, but it's hard not to fall into that narrative now. Brown speculated that the White House idea may have motivated Jones's return, but he questioned the timing and potential avoidance. If he comes back and fights someone else, he's choosing not to fight Tom, he stated. Brown clarified that this wouldn't necessarily be out of fear. Maybe it's about money, maybe he wants an easier fight, but fans would notice. Jon can make any choice he wants, but if he picks anyone other than Tom, fans will say he's ducking. Jones, never one to let an accusation slide, responded to a fan on social media. When someone called him out for ducking Tom Aspinall, Jones replied, "Choosing when to attack and where you want the battlefield to be is not ducking, my friend." He emphasized that every decision he's made has been strategic, not cowardly.
So they've announced this White House UFC fight. Can we expect to see you on the card?
I can't promise anyone anything, but I have a very strong feeling that I'll be on that card. It's going to be historic.
But who would you take on? Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Any possible names you think?
Well, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year.
After winning the vacant heavyweight title by submitting Cyril Gane in March 2023, Jones was expected to defend the belt against Stipe Miocic at UFC 295. That bout never happened due to a torn pectoral muscle sidelining him. In the meantime, Aspinall accepted a short-notice fight against Sergey Pavlovich and won by knockout, claiming the interim title. That put Aspinall at the center of the division and increased public demand for a unification bout with Jones, but it never materialized. Instead, Jones retired again, opening the door for speculation and criticism.
I'm as big a Jon Jones fan as anybody, and I've always defended he's not afraid of Tom. He's willing to fight anybody. It's hard to not fall into that narrative here, though. You know, like, to me, like, fighting in the White House, like, that doesn't do it. But maybe I'm a different person, you know, maybe everybody looks at it different. For me, like, if you tell me they're going to have a fight at the White House, like, cool, all right, like, it'd be cool to do it. If not, whatever, like, a fight's a fight.
Matt Brown reiterated his point. If Jon doesn't take the Aspinall fight now, fans will form their own conclusions. If you're Jon Jones and you don't fight Tom, you have to know how that looks. Even if your reason is legitimate, people will still think you're ducking.
Looks like Jon Jones finally wants to fight Tom Aspinall, but this time at the White House. I told you guys that Jon Jones was playing chess, not checkers, this entire time. Someone just tweeted this at Jon Jones saying, "Ducking Tom Aspinall, ? Best decision you ever made, ? Jon responded, "Choosing when to attack and where you want the battlefield to be is not ducking, my friend." I tried telling every single one of you that Jon Jones was never ducking Tom Aspinall. It's very clear here that Jon Jones is playing chess, while
Tom Aspinall remains focused. He's made it clear that he's ready to fight whoever adds legitimacy to his title reign, be it Gane, Lewis, or Jones. He's undefeated in UFC fights that go past the first round, and most of his wins are finishes. When asked about Cyril Gane, Aspinall didn't seem worried. He said, "Apparently I better be careful," he said, laughing, "but I think I match up really well. I'm just as fast, I move as well, but I can grapple and I've got power, and that's undeniable."
Cyril tweeted that he thinks you should be careful what you wish for, and he'll see you in Paris. How do you think you match up against Cyril?
I better be careful, apparently, yeah. I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power, and I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you once.
His resume backs that up. Aspinall has already defeated names like Marcin Tybura, Alexander Volkov, and Sergey Pavlovich. He's quickly established himself as one of the most dangerous men in the division.
Why is that fight not happening? Well, it could be for two reasons. It's either that Jon Jones is using a strategy to have more money.
You could say it, GSP. Go for it. Come on, say what you want to say.
But I think that's why he's doing
Okay.
it. You know, if he's doing it just to hold the title, to serve the wave, this is not.
Meanwhile, Amir Khan weighed in on Jon Jones's prospects in boxing. Though he praised Jones as a dominant MMA force, Khan strongly advised against stepping into the boxing ring. He said put him in a room with anyone in MMA, he's cleaning them out. But in a boxing ring, he'd just make himself look foolish. He warned that such a move would only damage Jones's legacy. Others speculated that Jones's delays may be financially motivated. One commentator said he gets a lot of money just for being champion. Sponsors probably pay him a fortune. Maybe he's just dragging this out as long as he can.
He's like the longest running heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC, isn't he? But he's only like he hasn't fought anyone. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. You know, I think Jon gets a lot of money for being champion. I think the sponsors and that are paying him a fortune, and I think he's just dragging along, keeping the belt as long as possible, because it's worth that much money to him. I mean, Jon's often struggled with tall people who are good boxers. I imagine he probably, if he did fight him, he would...
Leon Edwards also offered perspective. Speaking to Carl Froch, he defended Jones, calling him the GOAT of MMA. He's fought across generations. He's done it all. If he wants to retire as champion, fair play to him. He acknowledged that some people, including Daniel Cormier, see Jones's retirement as quitting, but Edwards disagreed. He's earned it.
Joe Rogan saying that he is supporting the idea of Pereira versus Aspinall. We know Aspinall will do it. He already tried at 300. We know Pereira will do it. He has a chance to set history. Champ is not likely to ever happen to any of us. Again, like there's a really big population that wants to see Jon Jones versus Pereira. There's a really big population that would rather see Jon Jones versus Aspinall. The winner of Ankalaev Rachik is going to take on Pereira, okay? Sure. Whatever your level of excitement for that is going to be. It still does not equal how badly you would like to see Pereira taken on top. The announcement of what...
Still, Edwards admitted that if we're comparing prime versions of both fighters, he'd pick Jon Jones over Aspinall. Prime versus prime, I'd go with Jon, 100%. But Tom's the guy right now. The criticism of Jones continues from other corners. Some argue that greatness isn't just about wins, it's about facing every challenge, regardless of risk. One fan expressed disappointment in Jones giving up the belt. The greatest of all time? Not anymore. He doesn't get it. Greatness is about how you carry yourself through your whole career.
And say, no, you're not going to take this. And do you know what Jon Jones did? You have it. I don't want to fight. You can have it. This is unbelievable. The greatest of all time. What a load of shit. I'm sorry. Never going to call that him the GOAT. Ever again. Because being the greatest of all time is not just about winning. And that's what Jon Jones doesn't understand. It's about how you conduct yourself throughout the whole of your career. Are you willing to fight the biggest challenges, the biggest tests? Go in there.
Since winning the heavyweight title in March 2023, Jones hasn't defended it. He was expected to fight Stipe Miocic, but injuries and delays kept that from happening. Aspinall took advantage of the chaos, winning the interim title and increasing pressure for a unification bout.
Jon Jones unretired.
And Jon Jones is going to just for that fight.
He went back into the testing pool.
Right.
But Tyler and I debated because he hasn't fought in 4 freaking years.
Yeah. I would still pick him over whoever they would charge.
Been screwed.
Right. Well, Aspinall's he's the champ now.
Payday.
Right.
Yeah, he's the champ, but he hasn't been paid.
No, but I would assume that if Aspinall is successful and wins once or twice going into 26, that would be the match.
Jon Jones recently confirmed to TMZ that his return hinges on the White House event in 2026. That's the goal. I've got a strong feeling I'll be fighting that night. In another interview, he echoed the same sentiment. He plans to face whoever holds the belt then. If Aspinall still wears the crown, that could be the long-awaited showdown.
This is one-shot knockout power. I believe that would make Tom Aspinall hesitate a little bit. And look, Tom would be the favorite in that fight. But if you don't think Derek Lewis has a shot to shut Tom Aspinall's lights out and steal that belt, not only be the knockout king, but add undisputed heavyweight world champion to his list, there's nothing more he needs. That would be the absolute fight to make for Tom Aspinall while he waits for the UFC White House card and hopefully gets Jon Jones after that. Now, again, it's easier to talk about getting a fight with Derek Lewis than it is to actually win it, especially.
But UFC President Dana White is cautious. When asked about putting Jones on the White House card, he didn't sound enthusiastic. You know how I feel about him. I can't risk putting him in a big spot and having something go wrong, especially not on a card like that.
How do you think that would have gone, Aspinall, Jon Jones?
prime versus prime.
Prime, I'll go Jon Jones.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Don't, what, you won't even give Tom a go at the
No,
prime?
no. Like I said, I rate Jon Jones highly. I believe that he's the best to ever do it. And Tom is a, for now, he's the guy now. You know what I mean?
But if they would have fought, then you think that Tom had a strong chance because of the timing.
Yeah.
And fighting's always about timing.
Yeah,
Boxing.
100%.
Coach Din Thomas sees all of this as a promotional play. This is all marketing, he said. They've kept this story alive even without a signed fight. According to Thomas, this strategy keeps fans invested. We talk about Jones versus Aspinall more than real fights that happen. They dangle the date. We reach. They pull it back.
But what did you make of it when you heard Jon calling out Alex of all people?
You know, I think he does do this because, you know, Alex Perez now he's like big star in the UFC, you know, everybody loves him, so he know what he's doing, you know, but I believe he should to fight against Aspinall, but I think he a little bit afraid of him, you know, because Aspinall is someone who can really stop him and beat him.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's what I think, that he believes if he can, you know, fight against.
Thomas thinks now is the time to finally make the announcement. It's like a movie. The story's built up. Now give us the fight.
GSP, why is that fight not happening?
Well, it could be for two reasons. It's either that Jon Jones is using a strategy to have more money.
You could say it, GSP. Go for it. Come on, say what you want to say.
If he has no intention of coming back, that's not right. Make negotiation happen, or, you know, get things moving.
Doesn't seem like Jon really likes the topic. He actually
Whether the fight gets booked for late 2025, early 2026, or the White House itself remains unknown. But the anticipation, the speculation, and the demand, those are all very real.